It is here in this scene and that the first Gnossienne is playing. This piece surrounds quite a popularity today, and the mood that this piece creates, combined with the imagery, perfectly reflects this detachment from Alain to his environment. The camera alternates between cuts to the tumult of the world and Alain's sadness, while the scenes of his surroundings are shown with such a distant indifference that, for example, come close to the observations of Antoine Roquentin in Jean-Paul Sartre's Nausea. But then it happens, Alain reaches for alcohol. The cafe scene in Oslo, August 31st, on the other hand, comes without any music at all, and instead we witness the gossip that surrounds Anders. That scene is even more oppressive, sticks the finger even deeper into the wound, and gives an honest insight into our current Western conditio humana. He overhears conversations about well-known kindergarten places in downtown Oslo, or the small talk or the getting-to-know-you phase of a first date, in which they very superficially mention their piano repertoire. She likes to play classical music, and of course the name comes up straight away, and only on Für Elise, probably without the middle section and also the first bars of the Mondschein Sonate. And her date doesn't want to focus on learning great music, that's far too exhausting for him, but rather devotes himself to jazz improvisation. Adorno would have left the cafe right away. Of course, this can mean a lot. Maybe he's an excellent jazz pianist, but especially in the age of YouTube, there are dozens of videos that mostly show men who want to seduce their date to sex in a very cliché, superficial manner, how to play a couple of notes on a piano in a few minutes without practicing or having any basis in music theory. It is never modulated into another key. Of course, you stay in C major, then the coach says you only need the white keys, then it sounds like most piano ballads on the radio. In the left hand, an arpeggiated triad from C to F and back again, and with the right hand, the white keys are pressed pathetically and purely arbitrarily. While this might not be a bad practice at the beginning of the piano learning process, you get a pretty good feel for the keyboard. The problem is the superficial acquisition of interests in our present day, this faking of depth and character to generate respect and prestige from others. Learning a musical instrument is no longer aimed at our interest in music or after hearing a certain piece, which one then wants to play, but to use it as a status symbol in conversations or on social media. Then Anders focuses on two young women who write down their life goals on their laptops, and when they read out their goals, a dystopia is almost reached within the framework of Radiohead's Fitter Happier. While the young woman talks about utopian family planning, maintaining an ideal weight, or planning to write down her own novel, the camera follows another woman in sportswear who is walking past the cafe. We are granted a small glimpse into the emptiness of her daily routine. We can see her exercising on a treadmill, shopping for groceries, and returning to an empty apartment, putting the milk in the fridge. But then the moment comes where the emptiness or meaninglessness pushes through the shell, confronts her with the lack of essence, insubstantiality of her existence. This moment happened a long time ago with Anders, as it did with Alain Leroy or Antoine Roquentin in Sartre's Nausea, who starts to see things only as present at hand, vorhanden, instead of the usual mode of being, ready to hand, zuhanden, through which he sees the lack of essence in the core of his existence, and that pure contingency of his existence becomes part of his nausea. But in the end, Antoine Roquentin comes to an important insight in his consciousness, which Anders and Alain unfortunately remain denied. This is the possibility, das Möglichsein of their existence. Unfortunately, Anders and Alain have forgotten their possibility or see it as a lifelong lie, while their nihilistic view of their surrounding denies them their salvation. Anders and Alain are both alone in a cafe, distant and alienated after failing to connect authentically with the world around them. One could assume that the suicide decision was made there. Alain begins to drink again, which puts him on his downward spiral, and Anders gets his overdose from the dealer.